Hello everyone. On Android, it appears that Audiostream in Kivy requires some work to support recording audio from the microphone into WAV files. The core audio library in Kivy does not support recording audio and points the user to Audiostream for audio recording. So I decided to dig further and see how to use Audiostream and Kivy for audio recording in Android. In this video, I will go through the steps I took to try and make audio recording with Audiostream work on Kivy and Android. First, I created a Python 3 Kivy environment and installed Audiostream in it. In the description box, I have provided the steps to install necessary libraries and modules. Then, with the help of buildozer, I created this simple Python 3 program to try audio recording with Audiostream library on Android. The program crashes when trying to launch on Android emulator in Android Studio. Here is the runtime exception. A certain audio in class from Audiostream is not found. Now, if we look into our code here, this is the line where I invoke function get_input to get audio from the microphone of the Android device. Android, of course, requires users' permission before accessing the microphone. I haven't covered that code here. In case you want to see some sample code to handle permissions, you can look up this video. Back to our code here. Function get_input requires class audioIn from Audiostream library to be loaded. This line of code here attempts to do that before calling get_input. And this is exactly where the program generates this JVM exception, as it cannot find audioIn class. To see why this class was not found, I first wanted to check if the code from the Java class was packaged into the APK itself. To examine the APK, I used the tool apt-get tool. An Android program is compiled into .dex or Dalvik executable files, which are in turn packaged into a .apk file. The .apk file is then deployed to the runtime environment of the device. .dex files can be created by automatically translating the Java bytecode of compiled applications. Therefore, we need to examine the DEX files for presence of the code which we expected to have been translated from the Java class that failed to load. Here is the command which will create smally folders corresponding to the DEX files. Smally is the code in assembly language usually generated by decompiling .dex files. The APK has been disassembled and the components are in the folders inside the main folder that is created here, Audiostream-test. So let's check out the folders. I'm looking for a Smally file of the same name as that of the Java class, audioIn, that is audioin.smally. As you can see, audioin.smally is not found. This indicates that the class file for audioin.java was somehow not compiled into the .dex files. No wonder our program cannot find audioin and fails to load it. This leads me to the next step, which is to find if audioin was not included in the build, and if so, include audioin and do a rebuild of the APK. Upon browsing the Audiostream code base, I could locate the source code for audioin.java. Separately, I was able to locate a POIX file that uses audioin. This gives me a hint that either audio-in.java needs to be compiled into .dex, that is a Dalvik executable, or the pyx file needs to be compiled to C, maybe using Python, to include audio in our APK. I chose to try the Java root and picked up audioin.java from the Audiostream repository. I manually copied audioin.java into the Java source folder of the buildozer build environment. I note the path for the location of audioin.java. Especially this directory can vary based on your build. In my example, I was building to ARM 64-bit V8A architecture, and the folder here was named accordingly. In buildozer.spec, I also configured P4A branch to p4a.branch equals develop. Next, I did a rebuild of the APK with command buildozer-v android debug. Once the new APK is generated, let's rename it to debug-includes-java-class.apk. Now I unpack this APK with APK tool. Upon searching for audioin.smalley, remember this is the .smalley file with the same name as that of Java class audioin.java. Just the extension is different, the file name extension. This time I do find that an audioin.smalley file was generated. This confirms that the class audioin was indeed packaged into the APK. Let's run this new APK on an emulator on the Android Studio. And as anticipated, this time, the audio in class loading error is no longer there. From the logs of Android emulator, we can see that audio in class was loaded successfully. This gives reason to believe that before we made this fix, buildozer did not somehow copy audio in.java into the Java source location within its build environment as part of the Audiostream install and build, and that is what caused audio in to be excluded from the APK, leading to the class not found exception at runtime. So to conclude, in this particular scenario, the function get_input from Audiostream library, which is used for audio input from the microphone on an Android device, depends on class audio in. Audio in was not compiled into .dex files in a buildozer kivy build, even though Audiostream was installed from its official repository, and therefore the Android runtime could not find class audio in and caused a class not found exception to be thrown at runtime. This issue was fixed by manually copying Java source file audioin.java into the Java source directory of buildozer kivy build environment and rebuilding the APK. Audio recording with Audiostream on Kivy can work, provided we take steps to manually copy necessary files to the buildozer build environment and rebuild the APK. What other issues or challenges have you faced with Audiostream and Kivy on Android? Please post your comments below, and if there are maximum votes to some other problem you're facing with Audiostream and Kivy on Android, I'll try to post another video with a solution. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a like and share with your friends. And do subscribe to our channel. Dalvik is named from a village in Iceland. As per Google Translate, Smali means shepherd in Icelandic language.